name is Alexa. I have, really big goals and visions for my life, and I felt called to work with you to help bring more energy and vitality and flow into my life. And so, with the work that I do, I found that it was important that I really take care of my health and myself in order to be able to do that. And I was aware that with with my thyroid, I struggled with having consistent energy. And so I had this gap between the energy that I really wanted to have to sustain, like you said, the life that I want and that I'm creating, and feeling like I just didn't have the physical energy and connection with my body to be able to do that. And I know that I need to prioritize my health in order to actually like reach those bigger goals. And I knew that there were things that I was doing that were probably harming me that I wasn't really aware about, or not necessarily harming me, but weren't helping me, right? They weren't supporting me. And so I didn't necessarily know what those things were. Some things I did know, but that's sort of where I started. I was experiencing pretty intense pain during my cycles, during my menstrual cycle. And that's something that I had been experiencing since I was a teenager. I dreamed of pain-free periods and thought that they were a myth or just not possible for me. So when we met, I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like I just wanted to like learn so much from you. So I was personally really excited. I was very much like intrigued, interested, and like it's something that I knew I had wanted to work on. So it just was like a perfect alignment, a synchronicity when we met, because you came into my life at the right time when I know I was ready to take on that challenge to actually start working on this. I think I wasn't expecting to have such a different relationship with my body. Like I've mentioned to you in the past, I think one of the most beautiful gifts that I've received from our work together is the connection that I have, how much more in tune with my intuition I am, and how much more self-compassion I have. Those were things that I didn't expect. I probably mentally expected to have there were certain results that I was hoping for that I did get, right? Like the pain-free periods and uh more flow throughout the month and just feeling more energized, like feeling better in all four, phases of my cycle, which is what I hoped for and expected because those were the probably the things that were most obvious to me that I needed. But I didn't expect that so much of that came from my relationship with myself. Right. And so that was the piece that was unexpected, but the most beautiful blessing and gift from it. I guess, comparatively speaking, because so many women are so hard on themselves, I've grown in that area a lot where I have become very self-compassionate, more compassionate. And then you invited me to go even deeper in that way. And you did it in such a beautiful way where it was, like I said, unexpected, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for it because I'm better for it. Within the first month, I already noticed a significant improvement in my menstrual cycle. Basically, last month I had zero pain, which is incredible to say. When I used to literally be curled in a ball, like on my bed for 2 days and didn't want to move. I've just made so much healthier choices now, so much more conscious choices. And normally I would have reached for like Advil, right? Because for those days, usually I was so used to taking medicine. I was able to support myself with like magnesium and almonds and like more natural ways that actually felt more in alignment. And I was starting to take more conscious choices beforehand too, knowing, implementing that in my diet. So like a lot of little minor diet changes that felt supportive, and not just for my cycle, but also for my energy and for, balancing my blood sugar, for even just on the days that I did consume alcohol, like figuring out how to kind of support my body when I do choose to drink. But yeah, overall, just such healthier lifestyle choices, and mentally and emotionally, just like stress management and really like just being more aware of where I can support my body so that I'm not pushing more than I need to, because like you said, that determination, that fire energy in me can really cause me to want to push through. And I have slowed down in a way that has helped me sustain my health and my energy. So I think that to me was just it was the key to having more self-compassion, because it validated my experience in a way that wasn't just me doing it in my head, because it just felt like, oh, of course, my body's going through all of this right now, and how can I actually show up to support her, right? How can I show up support my body versus fight it and put more stress on it when she's already doing so much for me right now? How can I take a moment to understand my body so that I can work with my body, not against it? So yes. So my husband's always been very understanding, and he'll know that, like, when I'm on my period, it was like kind of take things with a grain of salt, right? Like, know that I'm gonna be probably a little more snappy, and I'm probably gonna say things that are like a little rude, or my tone is gonna be, and I'm gonna be more easily frustrated and all these things. And that I'm probably gonna need, a lot more of his support, right? Like, um, because I'm gonna be curled up in a ball in pain, right? So like he just learned to expect that, especially because we've been together for like 13 years now. So he knew how it was. Imagine getting your period every month, and that's exactly what he's been used to. So after a few months of working together, I had asked him if he noticed any changes, and he's like, oh my God, yes. It's like night and day difference. He's like, you used to be like unapproachable the first 2 days of your period. And not to mention like the pain, like I just like I can see you actually can function. Like like he's like, I hate to say it like this, but you're kind of like a normal person, And so I'm like, I know, I feel like a normal person, right? And so before I didn't feel normal. I felt like I was literally just debilitated. And so, yeah, huge difference there. And so, while he never made me feel less or worse for it, it was definitely something he was like pleased, of course, to see. And I'm sure for him, one, because there's that side of like, he's happy that I'm not in pain and not experiencing that. But two, like, I'm sure from his end, he's like, yeah, it's just been like so much. I don't have to be careful, walk on eggshells those couple days. That's why this work I think is so empowering, because it really does, like you said, help you understand yourself so that you can change your relationship and not view your body as an enemy. What you are really good at is helping women feel connected to themselves and helping them understand what's going on in their bodies so that they can work with their bodies, not against it, and that they can go on a journey of being their own advocate versus relying on, just Western medicine to fix their problems. So in my mind, I think anyone can benefit. I think if you're a woman and you have your period, or if, I mean, I'm not sure if you work with older women who are, transitioning out of their period, but I think that honestly, there's not someone I can think of that wouldn't benefit from your work. I think price is always something that people like come up against, because they're like, do I want to invest in my health in this much in this way? Maybe I would have had some initial like, oh, like I'm about to spend this much money on myself, and that's scary, right? Or do I really need this right now, right? Like those are some thoughts that might have come up. But I think the way that everything happened made it so easy to say obviously yes, and to be able to like just embrace the synchronicity that did happen. There was no like hesitation, because I think I just knew I wanted to do that, after that conversation we had. And I was like, oh, because I just wanted to keep learning more from you. Like being where I'm at now and looking back and seeing where I'm at. I mean, there's not like a price you can put on that, but it's one of those things where you don't even realize how worth it is until you're almost there sometimes, because you don't, like you said, there were so many unexpected, beautiful things that came from it that I can't put a price on, right? Now I can't put a price on the relationship I have with myself. I can't put a price on the self-compassion and the self-awareness and connection and intuition that I have with my intuition. I can't put a price on the fact that I don't have a painful period anymore. Like, how do you put a price on that? So yeah, of course, it would make it super easy to go back and be like, yeah, I'm definitely going to pay for this. Like, can you imagine like suffering every single year of your life? And the thing is, sometimes we can normalize that because we're just so used to going through it that we live on autopilot and we just keep suffering through it because our familiar hell is more comfortable than our familiar heaven. wow, you should have done this earlier. You could have been doing this a long time ago, but I'm just glad I did eventually. I think you have multiple gifts. And, as we've had in conversation, I think you beautifully blend this side of you that carries so much wisdom, and then this piece of you that also has so much love and compassion. And you have this amazing way of cultivating, like taking your experience and helping someone create their own experience from their natural wisdom. So it's like this balance of the logical, right, with like the information about health and figuring out like, okay, yeah, neurochemically this is happening. Like you can really teach and educate in a way that actually is like palatable and digestible and easy to understand. And so that's really empowering. But you also balance that out with like this nurturing, loving side that is just, it makes you so whole. And yeah, it's just a beautiful combination. And I think I've never really met another coach who's so good at what she does, and has so much love and really like passion for what she does too. So let me think about this. I know we said a lot, but I just want to make sure I say everything that I want everyone to know. Mm. What's on my heart is just, there's a reason why I've sent so many people to you. And I think that it's so empowering to make this decision to prioritize yourself and prioritize your health. And there's there's nothing you won't gain if you don't choose yourself and take, really commit to this process. Because like I said, if you're a woman and you have your period or you have hormones, like you will see benefits in all aspects of your life. And so um this is why I'm so passionate about sharing, because I feel like everyone needs to understand themselves. We're not taught these things in school. We're not taught these things even by our doctors. And what you've taught me in 5 or 6 months, 6 months, I've lost track of time. So maybe it's about 6 months now, almost. I, I, I I had to be 33 years old. In 6 months, I learned what I haven't learned in 33 years. Like, it's insane. It's insane how empowering it is to have access to that information, and to also be not just led by the information that you had, but by the wisdom and your experience as well. And how, again, you beautifully packaged both of those things together in such a unique way. So yes. I hope that they make the empowering choice to like become their own advocate, and not just, blindly take advice from people who, like you say, they may not want to be harming them, but don't realize like are just keeping them in shackles, because at the end of the day, like they're keeping them stuck in this. They're just masking symptoms. They're masking things, and they're not really empowering women, but you empower women. Yes, yes, absolutely. I'm very glad that I committed to myself and that I followed through on, and took action on the things that you taught and that you helped me incorporate. So it was a beautiful collaboration.